Hey guys, happy Thursday and welcome to my Q&A. So this week is all about sports. Yesterday, some of you may have seen that two big things happened. The first thing that was really heard about was what happened with the Cubs yesterday. The second big thing was really big. The New York Knicks let go of Phil Jackson. So the Cubs let go of Miguel Montero. I thought that he was going to be a big part of the Cubs World Series win last year. He really wasn't up until Game 7 of the World Series. Montero came up with a huge, monumental hit in the 10th inning. The rest of the season, he wasn't really that big of a player. That dragged into this season. Last year, if you remember, or if you didn't hear, he complained a lot. He then went on to say how much of an issue he had with the staff, with the players, with pretty much everybody, saying that he hated not being a big part of the World Series team. He got a huge, monumental base hit in Game 7. Why did he complain? I have no idea. Then come this season, he has trouble in every aspect of his game. He's horrible at hitting. He's an okay catcher. Then comes 2 days ago where he's catching Jake Arrieta. He then catches a somewhat good game on Arrieta's part, but doesn't throw out one base stealer. I mean, no base stealers. He doesn't get one single throw out. He misses 6 guys. That is a horrible, horrible thing. We lost that game. Then comes yesterday. The Cubs designate him for assignment. Then the Cubs lose 8-4. Do the two things have any relevance to each other? Probably not. We lose Bryant. That's really, really big. That is huge. Am I exaggerating? Yes. If the Cubs do not get a good catcher besides Willson Contreras, we're not going to have a good team. Now that we lost Kris Bryant, we don't have a third baseman. However, we do have Candelario, who hopefully will be good. Moving on to the Knicks now. The Knicks let go of their president in Phil Jackson. Trying to think of how to talk about this. Phil Jackson obviously has a lot of coaching years with the Bulls and so forth. He clearly is not a good front office guy. He was with the Knicks for 3 years, and the Knicks have not had a winning season in any of those 3 years. They picked up a bunch of good draft picks. I also heard that there was a rumor he barely had any idea what he was doing with this year's draft. He clearly picked the wrong guy with the Knicks organization, so the next thing they did was let him go because he was not that great of a front office guy. So enough of the backstory. Let's get to the questions. The first question that really came up with the Cubs was, where are the Cubs going to go after yesterday? So, with the loss of Montero, the Cubs still have Willson Contreras. He clearly is much, much better at the catching position. However, the Cubs don't have a good backup to Kris Bryant. They have Candelario, they have Tommy La Stella, they have a couple other guys, but nobody is as good as Kris Bryant. So the Cubs, I won't be surprised if the Cubs end the first half of the season at 500 because they're facing a bunch of really good teams. Where are the Knicks going? The next question that I've seen in the last 24 hours was, do the Cubs have a chance of winning the World Series? The one-word answer is no. There's no chance. And I only say that because being an avid Cubs fan, after watching last year was a miracle season. Last year we had a really good rookie team. We just needed the father figure of the team, which we had 2 guys. We had David Ross and we had Dexter Fowler. Those were our 2 big leaders. So right now, as a 500 team, if we need to win half of the rest of our games, which would bring us to I'd hope a 75% winning percentage, but that's not going to happen. We just don't have the players that are good enough. And we keep this whole first half of the year, we lost our best hitter Schwarber. We lost Chris Bryant. Our pitchers aren't doing what they need to do, so we don't have a winning culture right now. What should Theo do now? And Theo clearly made a statement. He said, we do not want this culture in our clubhouse, meaning we needed to get rid of Montero. He complained, saying that he didn't like his playing time when he was a backup catcher. Ever since the beginning of the year last year, we put him in a backup situation because we had a good catcher already. We had Wilson Contreras. We just didn't need another leader catcher in a different guy. The last thing I'll say about the Cubs is the Cubs, they're not really going to go anywhere, at least until after the break, because the Cubs, they need to learn how to work together. Because clearly after this whole incident with Miguel Montero, even though he and Jake Arrieta said, yeah, we're good, Theo Epstein and Joe Madden laid down the law. They said this: we cannot have a negative experience and keep it in the clubhouse. We need to flush it out, which is what they did. So if the Cubs are going to win, they need to work together. Be that as it may, I do not think the Cubs will win the World Series this year. I think they will get close. They might make it to the postseason, but I still do not think they will win the World Series. With the Knicks are done. Their new draft pick, with everything they have, they're not going anywhere. It's almost positive they'll have another losing season. If Anthony stays, there's a good chance that they'll be a 500 team. Maybe they might be better, but they need to make a bunch of different trades or a bunch of different deals to make the team better. What do the Knicks do with regard to a GM? There are a couple sources that are saying the Knicks are going to pick up somebody from the 76ers or somewhere else. But with regards to the Knicks front office, the Knicks need to focus on who is a good fit with the GM right now. If they let go of the GM right now, then they're not going to have a good team. The last thing I'll say about the Knicks is this. In my opinion, the Knicks, before Phil Jackson, they were okay. Since Phil Jackson, they haven't been that great. That's only because I don't personally think it was Phil Jackson's fault. I really think that the Knicks have been an okay team because they were trying to build around a guy that's been in the league since the 90s or the early 2000s. You can't build around a guy that's been around the league for that long. That's like saying they could build around a veteran player. You can't do that. It's too hard. You can't build around a guy who's been there forever just to have him not. He can't learn that much, build himself up, because he's already up there. You can't go from first up. You're already up there. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on Tuesday with my new vlog. Have a good weekend.